When splitting up the group work for bcm300, we thought it would be easiest to tackle one section each, largely driven by what our interests were. That saw me looking into comparable products to ours, as well as their pricing, marketing, publisher, and developers. While our game idea, centered around drawing, doesn't really have a name yet, here's some comparable products. We've got Pictionary, we've got Backseat Drawing and its junior version, we've got Draw Something, the app, and Draw Something, the board game version. After I looked into their development and pricing, it was time to look a bit further, so I went to some academic research. First up, I read a journal article about Pictionary being used in the classroom. Then I did some marketing research on how some of the most popular and common board games are marketed in ways you might not expect. I also looked into the development and publishing of some of those games I talked about earlier. For instance, Pictionary was made by one guy, and he teamed up with two friends, and they sold 6,000 copies in its first year at $35 each before selling to Hasbro. The Draw Something app was so popular that it was downloaded 20 million times in its first 5 weeks. Its developer was bought a month after the game's release for $180 million. In terms of marketing board games, it's not so cut and dry as putting an ad on TV. A lot of the times they have smaller budgets and need to look for other ways to get their game out there. Something some publishers found useful was showcasing the game in action, finding a new niche, sometimes using Kickstarter as a way to advertise and fundraise for the game, and other developers used actual mobile apps to bring attention to their board game. Now, while Sheng, Paris, and Amy are looking into their own sections, it's important to note we've been keeping up on Discord, both in the written section, and we've also had a few meetings over the audio section, and we're all putting our contributions into one big Google Doc that we can see, just so we can get a look at what each other are doing. Now, we've still got a bit to figure out before our presentation, such as a name for our game, but I think we're moving in the right direction.